Now, first up today, I'd like to welcome a number of very special guests into studio. I'm joined here this afternoon by Helen Tracy and Lorraine O'Sullivan, all from Tralee. And the reason they're here is to talk about motor neuron disease. Now, I think we can say that these three women know a lot more about it than the rest of us, because during the summer, Helen lost her husband, Peter, who would be Lorraine and Tracy's dad, to this illness. Now, as it turns out, Kerry has one of the highest incidents of motor neuron disease of any county in Ireland. And suffice to say that more support for both sufferers and their families is badly needed. And they're going to talk to us about Peter and about motor neuron disease. And we'll also, in a few minutes, be talking to Helen Whelan, also from here in Tralee, about her involvement in organising a fashion show. So, first of all, let's come to Helen. And you're all very welcome to the programme, first of all. You might just move into the microphone there a little bit, Helen. Helen, before we talk about motor neuron disease or anything to do with it, can we talk about Peter and tell us the kind of man he was and how you met him and all that?
I met Peter when I was 16 at, it was called that time, Michael Donovan's Hop.
Hop.
Yeah. And we married when we were 18. So Peter moved here. He was from Glasgow. He was 15 when he moved over here. So Peter was quiet, a very private person. But once he made you a friend, you were his friend for life. And loved darts. That was his thing, was darts. He played with the Turner's dart team. They won the Tralee, the town league, which he was very proud of. So.
And he was Scottish?
Yeah.
From Glasgow?
From Glasgow,
and was he known as Scotty, am I right? Did I hear that?
That's right, yeah.
And did he ever lose the accent? I know Glaswegians are notorious for hanging on to the accent.
No, never lost it.
Yeah. And did he feel very much like a part of Tralee?
He did. Peter fitted in very well here. So he did. He had lots of friends. Mm-hmm. So.
And can I ask you, Helen, and I know it's hard to talk about this, but when he got ill, how did that all come about?
It started with his legs started going from under him and he started falling. Now, we thought he had his knee done a few years ago, so we actually thought that his knee was the problem again. But he went to see the doctor who sent him. He sent him up to Helena Moore, and neurologist in the Bonds. She sent him for tests, and I think she knew what she was looking for because she knew the signs. So she brought him in then, and she did some more tests.
And how many years ago was that?
He was diagnosed on the 9th of April 2011.
Okay, a day that's etched in your brain, I'd say, Helen.
I will never forget it.
And were you with him when the news was broken?
The four of us were there, so it was myself and Peter went in first, and she told us first. So then she wanted to know about the girls. But what we had decided was, no matter what happened, they were going to be involved every step of the way. So any appointment Peter had, the four of us always went.
You're a very close family.
Well, yes, yeah.
Yeah, I can tell that.
So that's the way we said we keep nothing hidden from them, and at least they were with us every step of the way as it progressed. They were there.
Okay. And did you know anything about motor neuron disease before it came to your own door?
The first I heard of it was Colin Murray on the Late Late, and I knew when she said motor neuron, I knew it wasn't good.
Yeah. And did you know that there was no cure even at that stage?
Well, she told us then. To be honest, I didn't, because I hadn't heard a lot about it. It was only since Peter, that's when I found out more about it. That
you took it from there. Lorraine, it must have been a massive shock to the whole family, was it?
It was, yeah. Like that now, the same as my mum, I can remember the day that we were told. Personally, I didn't know a lot about it, but the way Helena Moore worked was she didn't give us false hope. We knew there was no cure. We knew that the illness was going to take him. So we just sat down as a family and decided we'd take one day at a time.
And take it from there.
Yeah.
And Tracy, did you see your dad deteriorate pretty much in front of you over the years?
Yeah, we did. It was hard enough to watch, but it's something you just learn to live with, really, I suppose.
So it started with his legs going from under him, like your mum was saying, and
Yeah, and just kind of unsteady on the feet. And I mean, we went along like that for a good few months before it started to get, started to deteriorate a bit more. And then before we knew it, the legs were gone, and just trying to help him as much as we could because he was so young. It was very hard for him as well.
And you mentioned to me before we came on air, Tracy, about you got great support from the Motor Neuron Association. Is that what it's called in Dublin?
Yeah, the Irish Motor Neuron Association. They had nurses that came to Tralee to meet us and explain everything to us and the support that they provide to the families. And any time that we needed them, then one of them would come down and meet with us here in Tralee. And
Helen, how did Peter himself cope with it all psychologically? Because I mean, it's hard enough for his nearest and dearest, but for the man himself facing into that,
it was very hard for him because
like that, he was so young.
Okay, sorry, Helen. Okay, yeah, go on, Tracy. Yeah, you tell us.
He's just he was such an independent man,
and he was young too. He was only in his
50s, 55. So it was very hard for him to lose that independence and to have to rely on his daughters and his wife to help him. Now, my brother-in-law, Lorraine's husband, was fantastic. He was there the whole time with him and always helped him. He was just absolutely great sport.
And Lorraine, was he at home for most of it? Was he able to stay at home to be cared for?
He was at home for all of it because we made that decision that, we wanted him to be at home. He loved being at home anyway, so there was no way we'd see him, going somewhere. I think he'd one hospital stay throughout, and that was only for a couple of days. But like that, my husband Peter was phenomenal. He, as you can imagine, having two daughters, there wasn't a lot of physical stuff we could do. So my husband was brilliant. He'd help him into bed and out of bed and
lifting and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, which is very important. So it really pulled you all together, didn't it?
It did, yeah. Now himself, Peter and my dad were very close to begin with, but it made them a lot closer.
We're going to take a break for a second, I think, and we will talk a little bit more to the O'Sullivans when we come back, and we'll also be talking to Eileen, who's here in studio with us too, about a forthcoming fundraiser to raise money for motor neuron disease. So stay with us. We're on 083 300 3300, by the way, if you'd like to send in a comment. We'll be back in a moment.
So can you read the top line for me there, please?
RADIOKERRY.
Actually, that reminds me.
Talk About on Radio Kerry in association with Roger Harty Opticians, ORB, Tralee. 25 years helping you see more clearly.